we are categorically opposed to the new construction of non-conforming use facilities within the National Historic Landmark boundary on Moccasin Bend. To be clear, we also fully support the investment in a new modern mental health facility that better serves the needs of the 52 East Tennessee counties that utilize the current hospital. Tonight, we will share why we believe a different land use decision needs to be made on Moccasin Bend, one that respects the past while investing in the present and preserving for the future.
The truth is here, hanging from the trunk's canopy. Love is here, moving through the air. We hear it now, so we must honor it now.
A million visitors that come to this national park also spend an extra night to come up to Ruby Falls and another night to go to the Tennessee Aquarium. So the economic benefit that a national park draws to the community, 81 million now, another 20 million a year once we fully develop the national park.
Here we are again, assembled to stand up for the preservation of Moccasin Bend. Despite National Park Service status, despite the National Historic Landmark designation, here we are again. This time, we cannot fail to fulfill the promise that was made decades ago, that if Moccasin Bend was accepted as part of the National Park Service, the non-conforming uses on the bend would be removed as soon as those uses became obsolete. That time is now. This historic moment of reunification belongs to the ages. It is implicit in the Tennessee River Park Master Plan that no government will pave over this crossroads on Moccasin Bend that represents the history of the North American continent. Thanks.
Well, you have to be a national park city. We need you to be hope. We need Chattanooga to give us hope and tell us the story is not done. That's what this is about. These are moral moves, y'all. This ain't Anywhere USA. Bigger than a spreadsheet. A park in that location will do more economically, morally, and in terms of shaping our trajectory than any mental hospital will ever do. Thank y'all for having us.
But I spoke to Commissioner Williams 2 days ago, and I was really encouraged by part of what she reported, and that is that the Phase 1 archaeological analysis, the experts can speak to it, may not be thorough enough, but it is going to take more time than they thought, which feels to me like a good sign. And when that is done, she promised to include all stakeholders coming back together to have this conversation again. And she spoke about the sign-off that will ultimately be required by Governor Lee, who is, as I know him, a rural Tennessean with a heart for conservation.
Throughout the history of this country, on big things, we come together. Matters of war and peace, we meet at the water's edge. Matters of preservation and conservation and doing the right thing by our legacy and education, we come together. And we're together here, and it's really, really important that we're very much together here, all of us, with common mind and purpose. And I tell you, when I was a freshman member of Congress, and I stood right down here where the state is talking about building another building, with Dr. Dwayne King, who was the foremost authority on the Trail of Tears and the National Trail System. He's dead now, but he came in from New Mexico, and he stood right there at that special place, and he looked up at Lookout Mountain, and he said, for the millennia, people have gravitated to where the mountains and the rivers and the plains meet. And that's why there's 12,000 years of human history underneath our feet. And I was sold completely on the need to preserve that special place. Because we did our homework, we did our diligence. They looked at everything. They looked at what the archaeologists just spoke to. They knew what the history was. They knew that all this stuff was under the ground that was so important, that if you had an archaeological district, people would come from miles away, and children would come in school buses from North Georgia, Northern Alabama, because this was an archaeological district where you could actually have a dig, and you could actually have the archaeologists come and explain to future generations exactly what is here, and who lived here, and who came through here, and why DeSoto crossed here going to the Mississippi to discover the Mississippi River, and all these things. And you say, well, if that's all true, Zach, how in the world is the state moving towards building a new building within feet of where this is? You say, how could that ever happen? The truth is, people don't know what they don't know. Commissioner of Tourism told me that we're a little short on Native American history in our state in terms of our tourist attractions. And I said, you have the only archaeological district in America in Chattanooga. And he did not know that. 100% of the people that I've met along this road want a new mental health center. And we're grateful that the state is going to build it. But I've met very few people who think it belongs on Moccasin Bend. It belongs somewhere else. None of it makes sense. And oh, by the way, 1 million visitors come to the Chickamauga-Chattanooga National Military Park a year. You know what the studies say the Moccasin Bend National Archaeological District will bring in new tourists to Hamilton County every year? 250,000 more, a 25% increase in what currently comes to the Chickamauga-Chattanooga National Military Park. As the mayor's representative said, those are dollars for our community. That is added value. That is culture. That is history. That is education. And it's doing the right thing for the tribes. And I can't speak for them, but I've talked to the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band many times through the last several months. I'm not sure they were properly consulted by the state about what they're doing, and I know that's a federal law. As the only archaeological district in the national park system, the future generations of this community, they cry out for us to make sure the state pivots away from Moccasin Bend. Thank you.